What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of The Growth Blueprint. I have a cold, so I don't sound super great, and this one's also going to be a little bit of a quicker episode because I probably can't talk for all that long before I lose my voice. But in this episode, I want this to be a challenge episode for you. I want this to be an episode that is very thought-provoking and forces you to reflect and analyze and look at your life as a whole. We're going to draw on some of the big things that I talked about a couple episodes ago regarding decision-making frameworks and decision-making frameworks in regards to regrets and living life. Because I think that for the vast majority of people out there, we all have a handful of things that we would change about our life, right? We would like to make more money. We would like to be more fit. We would like to have better relationships. We would like to, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. Now, what I want to ask you is, we all assume, or not assume, but we all accept the fact that actions speak louder than words, right? We all know people that are all talk and no action. They like to talk big stuff. They like to say lots of things, but they never actually do anything. We all do this to some extent in our lives. We really do. It's so much easier to say than it is to do. That's why we have all these quippy little things and phrases and sayings. It's easier said than done, right? Blah, blah, blah. There's tons of these things. And I want to challenge you to assess your life and look at what is it that you're saying you want, but you're not acting like you want. Okay, and this goes for everything. I'm a big believer in personal development, self-growth, self-determination, working on yourself, becoming better, learning, growing. And if you listen to this podcast, I assume that you probably are too. And I think that this is a really powerful exercise to spend some time thinking about. It's like, what are the things that I say that I want, that I tell people that I want, that I talk about wanting, but that I don't actually act like I want? Okay, and this, I think that this is really important because it's going to show you where you're not stepping up to the plate in your life. And we all have these areas that we don't step up to the plate in life, but we say that we want to, but we don't. And I think that that's one of the best places to start with personal growth and with development and setting goals. And for a lot of you listening to this is probably health and fitness, right? But I think health and fitness is the gateway drug to personal development. It's the area of life where you can see the quickest results for the time that you're putting in. Financially, those kind of things might take 3-4 years. Relationships might take a year, right? But your health and fitness, if you're diligent for 6 months, everything could be different at that point. But what I want you to ask yourself is a couple questions. The first question is, what am I doing right? Okay, and if we think about the goals that you have, if you think about the areas in your life that you want to improve, ask yourself, what am I doing right? Okay, what are the things that I'm doing that are moving me closer to my goal? Because I think it's important to get clear on what's working, because the ways that you improve and the ways that you grow are you do more of what's working and you do it better. Okay, and so that's one way to learn and to grow, is you do more of what is working and has been working and you try to do it better. And so answering the question, what am I doing right now that is moving me closer to my goals? And figuring out what those things are, and then taking some time to analyze and say, okay, how could I do this better? What is this activity? How could I make this, what could I do about this thing that I'm doing that would make it work better? Or I could be more consistent with it, or I could make it more impactful, or I could, XYZ, whatever. How could I improve it in such a way that it helps me move towards the goals that I have more quickly or more consistently. And write that down, figure out what that is. And then the next question I want you to ask yourself is, what am I doing that's screwing this up? What am I doing that's taking me further away from my goals? And this can sometimes be really difficult. And not difficult to answer. I think that it's actually relatively easy to answer. I think that if you actually sit down with a piece of paper in front of you and you ask yourself, what am I doing right now in my daily or weekly life that is not moving me closer to my goals, that is preventing me from making the progress that I want? I think that most of us could probably come up with quite a few answers to that question. The hard part is deciding what to do about it. But this is the other way to make progress, is get clear on what's the shit that you're doing that's not helping you, that's not serving you, that's not helping you become the version of yourself that you proclaim that you want to be. Okay? And I think that this is a part where a lot of people screw this up. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to look at themselves objectively and be honest with themselves and say, these are the things that I'm doing that if I keep doing them are not going to help me get to my goals. Because the reason that you don't have what you want to have, that you say are your goals, is because you're not the type of person that has that as an outcome. And that's the whole point of personal development, personal growth, right? And if we take this in the health and fitness example, the reason you're not 30 pounds lighter than you want to be is because right now you are not the kind of person that does the things that leads to being 30 pounds lighter. Or you're not the kind of person that has done the things long enough to be the kind of person that is 30 pounds lighter. And so whatever these goals are that you have, they require sacrifice. And the sacrifice that's required is the person that you are today, because the person that you are today is not the kind of person that does the things that leads to the outcomes that you want, that you claim are the goals that you have. And so you must be willing to sacrifice the version of yourself today that does not do those things in favor of the version of yourself for tomorrow that does do those things. But you have to be clear on what those things are. And so you have to ask yourself the question, what am I doing that is holding me back, that's not helping me get to my goals, that's not serving me, that's not helping me become the best version of myself that I can be? And this is a difficult question. And again, this is why most people are average. And let me just tell you what average is. Average is less than $1,000 in the bank, so broke. Average is overweight, so unhealthy. Average is divorced, so bad relationships. So like, nobody wants those things, but it doesn't really matter what you want. It doesn't really matter what you say you want to have. I tell this to my prospects, I tell this to my clients all the time. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Okay, I didn't come up with this, but this is amazing because we all have the same goals. We all want to look good, feel good, make a lot of money, have great relationships, make awesome kids, live a great life. Like, the goals do not make you special. The system that you have that moves you towards those goals is what makes you special. That's what makes the difference. And that's the whole purpose of why I do what I do, is to help you build systems that move you towards those goals so that you aren't average, because average sucks. Average is broke, overweight, and divorced. Nobody wants to be average. But average, by definition, is what most people are. And most people are not willing to sacrifice who they are today for who they want to be in the future. And so that is what I'm challenging you to do, is get clear on what are the things about who you are today that are good, that are moving you towards the stuff that you claim that you want. And then what are the things that you're doing today? What are the things about yourself today that are incompatible with the version of yourself that you claim that you want to achieve? Because you are making a sacrifice, whether you're aware of it or not. You are either, one, sacrificing who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow, or you are sacrificing who you want to become tomorrow for who you want to be today. Those are the only two options. So your future self will either look back and thank you, or your future self will look back and say, damn, I made a mistake. And I kept making that mistake for years. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. And I know that this shouldn't be making you feel great. That's not my goal. My goal here is not to make you feel good. My goal with this podcast is to make you think, is to make you question if the stuff that you're doing on a daily basis is the stuff that leads to the life that you want. Because if you do not ask yourself these questions, chances are you're not going to like where you end up. Okay? Nobody accidentally got fit. No one accidentally got healthy. No one accidentally got rich. No one accidentally built a good relationship. No one accidentally raised their kids right. Like, all of this stuff takes intentional work. All of it. And so if you are not moving with intention towards your future, you're going to be handed whatever life wants to hand you. And it's probably going to pass out average stuff. Average health, average relationships, average income, average lifestyle. And that's what I don't want for you. I don't want you to have to do that. I don't want anybody that I spend time around, that I am influencing, that I am impacting, that listens to this podcast, that's part of my community. Like, I want more for you than that, because average sucks. Average is divorced, broke, and overweight, and unhealthy. I don't want that for you. But if you do not do anything about it, that is what you will be handed. And so this is my challenge to you. Figure out what you're doing right, and figure out how you're sabotaging your future self. Because you're making a decision every day. You're either becoming that version of yourself that you want to be, that gets the results that you want to have, or you're sacrificing that person in exchange for what you've always been used to, and being the same person that you were yesterday and the day before, and so on and so forth. So, that is my sick, short episode for today. I hope that it was thought-provoking, and I hope that it didn't make you too uncomfortable, but I hope that it made you think. I would rather be kind, not nice. I would rather tell you the truth in hopes that the truth would help set you free. Okay? So, if you found that valuable, please rate the show, review the show. It would mean the world to me. Share this with somebody that you think is in a place where they need to hear these words, these truthful words, to help them see the light, help them see that they can do it, and help give them a plan on how they can accomplish what they're set out to accomplish. Because I want you all to accomplish amazing things. That's why I make these episodes, and that's why I do what I do. So I say all of these challenging words with only love in my heart and wishing you the best. So please, if this was valuable, as your time is your most valuable resource, and so if you did find it valuable, share it with somebody else that's going to find it valuable. Review the show, and I will see y'all in the next one.